if I go for, you know, 5 or 6 days without an ejaculation,
Mhm.
then whoever's around me on day 6, 7, and 8, and ain't nothing happen, is gonna be in trouble. That's pretty much what's gonna happen
They're getting
with me.
sprayed
It's going to be a hose down, pretty much with
like a
me.
fountain.
Like it's going to be like a geyser just going off with me.
What's up, everybody? You've tuned in to Just Drawz, the podcast that explores hot topics and various experiences among same-gender loving Black men. In each episode, we offer raw, vulnerable, and stripped-down perspectives to give voice to our frequently overlooked population. Here, we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep, peeling back the layers of our experiences as well as heteronormative stereotypes. Let's get into this week's episode.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just Drawz, the podcast where we keep it vulnerable,
Raw and stripped down.
and authentically just us. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Darius, aka DMC.
So grab a drink,
or keep your hands on the wheel,
readjust your support, and
let's get into it.
All right, so tonight we are coming from Shady Pines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pre-burned, pre-fire, right?
Right. This is after the renovations. From the fire. Yeah. You know, they
definitely
got
a lot better.
A cute insurance check.
Yeah.
After that fire, down
right.
to the Shady Pines
and the hot plate. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're coming from Shady Pines, the new renovation, the upgraded version, because it's relative to our topic tonight. So we're going to talk about being gay after the age of 40. So does being gay get better with age? Do older gays just fade into the background and let the young guys take over, the YNs?
Right.
So,
I just learned what that was like a couple of years ago. I was like, what's a YN? And then I was like, is that a young Negro? But I didn't say that. And they were like, yeah, that's what it means. And I was like, wow. Okay.
Essentially, that's what it means. We won't say what it means here. If you don't know by now, you can figure it out on your own.
Right.
But
UrbanDictionary.com.
Exactly. So yeah, so we're going to talk about that and talk about our experience as being over 40 gay men and what things have been like compared to our younger lives, as far as dating and sex and health and all that stuff. All right. So let's just get right into it today. Okay. So, as we age and mature, our social lives kind of shift and change as well. We move around the country, we meet new people, our goals change, things that we're into, our hobbies and things, all of that can change. And sometimes your friendships can change just by being in a new location. And so I want to just talk about right now just some of the social things in general, how that has changed for us as we've gotten older. So, what is your social life like now? So for me, I'll say that I have a larger or bigger social life than I did before. And for me, it's not necessarily just due to, getting older, but I think I can say that I feel like I've let it expand because I've relaxed myself a lot more. And I know that when I was younger, I was a lot more uptight and very introverted. And so I kept to myself more. And I still keep those introvert qualities about myself, but and we'll probably get to this a little bit later, dealing with a life coach a couple of years ago kind of helped me expand out and break some of the shell that I've had so that I could expand my social circle a little bit more. So I'll say when I was younger, it actually wasn't that great. So I kind of, obviously I had some friends, I had some people that I talked to, but I didn't really socialize that much or go out as much as I did do now compared to, say, even as far as like 20 years ago.
Why do you feel like you were so uptight years ago?
Just not finding or fitting in with the people that I knew were gay at the time.
Okay.
For example, like, as we talked about this before in the show about masculinity
Mm-hmm.
and my perception of my own masculinity. So let me put that out there. Um, I didn't feel like I fit in with the gays that you would call more queer leaning. So I didn't really socialize with them. I've spoken
Mm-hmm.
on this before. Like, I spent more time with the more, lack of a better term, straight acting gays. I mean, guys, just because, and they were straight. They weren't straight acting. They were actually straight guys because they were into the things that I was into, video
Mm-hmm.
games, TV, cartoons, stuff like that. I just didn't find that tribe when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
of gays. So yeah, so I wouldn't say necessarily uptight. I just couldn't find the tribe. I'll say less uptight, more so just not finding that tribe of guys that I was more into or felt like I would get along with a lot better than just your generic queer gay guys
So
from
did
the
you?
90s and early.
So if you felt like that you had found, or let's say you found that tribe when you were younger, do you feel like you would not be as introverted, or is that something
I
that you think that you would always be?
I don't think I could say that because,
Okay.
I think there were some other things that I needed to work through that I would not have made it through without the help of the life coach. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah. What about you? How would you compare your social life now to when you were younger?
So social life, I don't know what a social life is now. No, I'm joking. But no, when I was younger, I had a social life, but again, it wasn't the social life that I wanted to have or dreamed of myself having. Just like you, I was introverted, but I I don't think honestly, and just being vulnerable here, because we're just draws. I don't think that I would have had the social life, or I don't think I had the social life that I wanted because I was fat, black, and ugly. So that was the thing that I kept telling myself, or the thing that
Mhm.
I would kind of hear, not necessarily directly from people, but very indirectly and very overt, not overt, but very, very under the radar. I would hear that, I would kind of hear those things. People, weren't interested in dating me because I was dating, or interested in girls at the time. None of them were interested. I didn't have the look that they wanted. I didn't have the body they wanted. I was dark, you know. So, and people didn't mind hanging around me, but it
Mhm.
was very surface level. Very, I'm just going to kick it with you because you're fun, and or you have this stuff, or you're smart, kind of thing. My social life now isn't too different from that. It's I'm still very introverted. I've mentioned before that I'm a homebody. I like to lay in the pocket. If I'm at home, I'm in my happy place. I don't mind
Mhm.
being out places and stuff like that and being around people, but when I'm around those people, it's not like I'm the life of the party.
Okay.
I again, I like to play in the background even when I'm around those people. So it's not too much different, to be honest with you. And I think that's part of the trauma of growing up the way that I did, and having those thoughts and those negative kind of visions and negative perceptions of myself. It permeated a little bit to when I got older too, to the point that I've learned how to be okay by myself.
Okay. So let's talk about being fat, black, and ugly.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
obviously you're not fat now. And you're
Well,
still black
talking about
or
well.
African American. You're not what we would call morbidly obese.
Yeah,
Let's just say that.
well,
Okay.
according to the doctors. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So outside of that, do you see yourself as being handsome now or just not ugly?
Mm-mm. Not particularly. I don't see myself as necessarily being handsome. I don't see myself as being as ugly as I was. Like, if I have to put that comparative sort of statement on it, yeah,
Mhm.
that's where I am now. But there are
Okay.
plenty of times I still look at myself and go, ugh, you know. But that's stuff that I'm still working through too. Even though,
Yeah.
I get compliments from people and stuff like that, but it still, it doesn't sink. It doesn't take, it doesn't take, so.
Okay. So you mentioned in your answer
Mm-hmm.
that you were considered to be fun. So do you
Mm-hmm.
still consider yourself to be fun, or did you see fun as just being not the thing that you wanted people to hang around you with, or that not being the reason that they wanted to hang around you?
I think that people still hang around me because I have a sense of humor. But what I found is interesting is that my sense of humor translates more in straight spaces than it does in gay spaces,
Okay.
because gay spaces tend to be a lot more lively and in your face and extroverted in nature. And that's not me. And so when I make jokes with people or I hang out with people and stuff like that, I am very reserved, the same way I am here. I'll throw a jab,
Mm.
in the middle of us having a conversation, and I might not even laugh, but hopefully like viewers are catching little things that I'm throwing out there, or little things that I might be saying, or a reference I may make. So I do that a lot. But again, sometimes that doesn't translate in gay spaces. It translates to being boring in gay spaces.
Okay.
And then of course being over 40, like, that's already kind of another strike. You're like, okay, you already old as dirt in in the gay realm. You 1 foot in the grave and shit. But then on top of that, like, they're like, oh well, he's not even fun. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's not. He doesn't have this sort of personality. So it's a balancing act, and it's always been a balancing act, kind of, for me.
So your social life, you would say, isn't that much different now as it
Mm-mm.
was before,
No,
in
not
general.
really. Mm-mm.
Okay. So I know recently, as this is a conversation we've had outside of the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
you recently had an experience at a club. How would you compare that experience to one that you've had, maybe, because we went to the same club before. This has been about 9 years now.
I'm trying to remember which club you're talking about.
We're talking about the club in Los Angeles.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I'm back with you now. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you have to prep me. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's okay.
Okay. So you're talking about like
So
this recent
yeah,
trip.
your most
Okay.
recent trip to that same club, and
Yes.
it could necessarily, you don't have to necessarily
It
compare
wasn't the
it to
same
when we
club.
went.
Yeah, but right.
Okay, but yeah, just as from prior club experiences that you've had, because I know you're not the type that always goes out, or you may go out
Mm-hmm.
once a season,
Yeah.
if
Right.
that.
It's seasonal. Yeah. Exactly. So that the comparison to the club when we went out then versus now, because it's almost 10 years
Yeah.
since we went out. Honestly, it wasn't much different. The atmosphere was pretty much the same. The thing that was different about when we went out almost 10 years ago, it was about 9 years ago now.
Mhm.
The thing that was different about that was I was with a group of people. There was a decently large group of us that went out,
Yeah.
because there was probably 7 of us maybe that went
Yeah.
out all together. So I had a posse,
An
for lack of a better
entourage.
term, an entourage. Well, it wasn't an entourage. Entourage more so for me is I'm here, I'm the main attraction, and everybody else is just kind of
Hmm.
accessories, or they're just the decoration around me. Posse is all of us went in together. Like
Yeah.
we were there as a collective. And so I think when we were there as a collective, it was different because we all knew each other. And
Right.
I didn't necessarily have to feel like I needed to engage with anybody else, because I was engaging with the people that I'm with. And what's crazy is that's what I see a lot in a lot of gay spaces now in the clubs that I've gone to, is seeing people come with groups of people or come with people, and they
Mhm.
don't do anything outside of hang with those people. This time
Right. Right.
around, I was only with one other person. And so being with that one other person is different, because it's like, okay, you're going to go and maybe talk to somebody over here, or you're going to go and talk to somebody over here. And even though we were kind of sitting next to each other at certain points, there were people on my right that I was having conversations with, and then there were people on his left that he was having conversations with. So we were able to kind of navigate in different spaces. So it was a little different, but again, the vibe and the atmosphere was very much similar.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Yeah, for me, I haven't gone out in a couple of weeks, but my experience with clubs is when I was younger, clubs were a lot more active. And when I say that, like people just didn't go there and like just stand on the wall and stare at their
And look at
phones
each
all
other.
night
Right.
and just look at each other and mean mug and this and that. Other people actually got on the dance floor. They danced. You know, they did more interaction because they didn't have a little computer and the whole world at their fingertips to
Mm-hmm.
kind of distract them. So
And
you
they weren't
had
getting
to
on Jacked
socialize. Yeah, they weren't getting on Jacks. There were no
to see
apps.
who
You know,
was in
you
the
had
club. Right.
to right to see who was in the club, to see if they was going to message them or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people had to interact with those people that were in the club in real time, so you literally were living in the moment. Versus
Mm-hmm.
now, it's just like you just said, like people will get on Jacked, they'll get on the grinder, they'll look to see who's in the club or who's in the club down the street, this that and the other, and
Mm-hmm.
will make plans to communicate or meet up just in that social, just because they're in that localized area with the
Mm-hmm.
geolocation.
Right. Right.
So outside of that, you know, clubbing has been a little more, what I want to say, just let's go out and look at people like a fishbowl,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
People
Like
watch.
we're just
Yeah.
gonna like people watch. We're just gonna go out and look and talk about folks, meet up with the people that we already know, and stick with our clique.
Mm-hmm.
We may meet somebody there, but we may not because we're going to use the jacked out.
Right.
So I feel like clubs nowadays just aren't as fun as they used to be. And I don't feel like it's worth the effort, but a lot of the younger gays don't have any point of reference to how clubs used to be. So
Mm-hmm.
they just kind of feel like, oh, well, this is the way it's always been. So I don't know any better because the culture has, you know, shifted more into bottles and sections and, you know, looking at the apps and using our phones to kind of like distract us.
Do
So
you
I feel like
ever, are there ever points where you go to the club and you feel the energy or see that it could potentially get back to what you remember the clubs being?
I don't know, because at least from the experiences that I have in Atlanta, and as far as it goes to or revolves around Black gay clubs specifically, I feel like it's harder to do that because there's less spaces. Um, More now, you have bars and speakeasies,
Mm-hmm.
and less, oh, let's go to the club, let's go down to the tracks, or what is it, the Chaparral
Opera.
and the 708 and
Does
all
that
of
still
those clubs.
exist?
Like no.
Okay.
So yeah, all of those like more danceable clubs
Mm-hmm.
that were known for the dance floors and the multi levels and all that stuff, that just doesn't exist here. And I feel like because we are in an age where um, developers and real estate are capitalizing on these places that nobody wanted to be in before, but now, oh, you know, we can put a high rise here. You know, that's eating away, and people aren't just really having the money or the space to just buy this warehouse or this empty building and
Mm-hmm.
then put a club in there and then it'd be profitable and then they can make their rent or mortgage payment. So I
Okay.
don't see that coming back anytime soon unless it's intentional. What I think we'll see more of is different groups of people renting event spaces and being like, hey, this is a club by Jeff. And oh no, this is an event rather by Jeff, kind of like a deviant party where the party is going to be a brand and the brand is going to rent this space and they're going to put on the club experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be gone until the next month or 2 months later. I feel like that will be more of the vibe. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we will see. All right. So while we're at the club,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one of the things that we like to do at the club is meet people. And we
Mm-hmm.
could meet people to date, and we could meet people to have sex with, or we could meet people that could just be friends.
Yeah.
So we're getting out of that and getting into the dating and sex section of this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out,
Mm-hmm.
and about on the apps or just in real life. If you just happen to meet someone um, that you see at the gym or at the grocery store, this and another, do you feel like you are competing with younger men for the same types of guys that you're interested in, or are you more interested in guys that are more closer to your age range?
That's a good question. I don't feel like I'm competing with younger guys because most of the younger guys that are in the club are not guys I would want to date anyway. So that's one thing. But the
Okay.
second thing is a lot of the guys that are younger in the club are looking for older guys or they date
Hmm.
older guys. And so it's never really a thing of, oh, look at that old ass man in the corner kind of thing. And they're looking at me because I don't necessarily give old at the club. I think I give around what most of the people who attend the clubs that I go to when I go to the club seasonally, as we mentioned earlier. I think that I look to be around those ages anyway. So I don't feel like there's any competition per se from on my part. I mean, I could be wrong if they feel like they're competing with me, but again, I still don't see that. Do you feel that when you go to the club?
I mean, obviously, I'm not dating now. I'm not on the hunt now because I'm dating someone.
Hmm.
I'm in a relationship. But I never really felt like I was never interested since I've gotten over 35 guys that were that much younger than me anyway.
Hmm. Yeah.
So like the 20-year-olds and whatever them little kids, yeah, y'all can all have each other. Once I got into my 40s, I started to recognize, hey, I'm getting into the silver
Old man
daddies of
territory.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that era of my life. And
The
so I
now
noticed
I'm
that
free to
I
see the
was
world hover
getting
around. Hmm.
right. I'm seeing more. I was starting to notice that a lot of younger guys were attracted to me or
Hmm.
felt like they could talk to me. And so it was kind of weird. It was kind of good to feel like, oh, this guy, he's in his late 20s. He wants to talk to me. Cool. But then I'm also thinking, well, I'm, early 30s. I mean, sorry, late 30s, early 40s. Now what you gonna do? What's happening here? Because I can't
Hmm.
finance you. I can barely afford myself. So
Okay.
what's the expectation here? Do you just
Yeah, we're
like
not doing
younger
that.
guys? I mean, older
Hmm.
guys or whatever? Are you trying to find, your daddy? Because I can't be that for you.
Hmm.
Um, so I felt like I wasn't necessarily competing for those same younger guys. I felt like that's what I was attracting.
Hmm.
So now I feel like my range of guys that if I were dating now, it still kind of be that plus minus 10, which is where I was before.
Yeah.
If you were 10 years younger than me, 10 years older than me, that 20-year span, I would feel like you would be dateable. So,
Hmm.
but if you were somebody that was just like 35 now, me being almost 50, yeah, no, I'm not going to date you. I don't
Yeah.
like now I can have fun and do things with you. But as far as like seriously consider you as a partner that I'm going to date, I don't see that.
Yeah,
Do not see that at
I
all.
would go about 10 years younger, but sometimes I cap it a little bit in the older area.
Mhm.
It really, 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 really depends on how well preserved that person is, and if they're able to give a little bit
Mm.
younger. So there are people who have hit me up that are 5 years older than me, and they look like hard times.
Mhm.
Then there are people who are 10 years older than me who look absolutely amazing. And I'm like, wow, this person looks great. Like I could see if this person was interested, I could see myself, dating this person. But there sometimes some of them are kind of few and far between.
So define preserved. Are we talking about by the face? Or are we talking about body?
Both.
Okay.
But
So if
they don't
they're
necessarily have to be like super muscular, but if they do take care of themselves and they
Mhm.
have a fit body that looks great, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but preserved in like I'm looking at you and it's like, okay, I would not have guessed that you were 57, or I would not
got
have
it.
guessed that you were 53, you know, like you don't look 53 kind of thing. So that's what I mean by preserved. But again,
Okay.
there's some people who are our age that look like hard times, real
Yes.
hard in the face. And it's like,
Hmm.
woo, sir, you have
Rode
been through some
hard, put up
things,
wet.
rode hard, put up wet, and still hanging. Okay. Still air drying. I'm like, nah.
Uh, okay. All right. Yeah. 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 So let's talk about this. So
Hmm.
you have your range when it comes to dating.
Hmm.
What about when it comes to hookups and casual sex? Is there a difference for you for that? Are you okay with dipping a little bit younger if the sexual opportunity is there?
I have. I'll
Hmm.
say that. I don't think that that's ideal necessarily for me, but I do. I have. I'll say that I have. I've dipped a little younger than that. And what's crazy is I don't know. Well, of course you're not dating right now. But what I just learned is in not Instagram, Snapchat is like the place now for people to start trying to hook up with other people or exchange nude photos or like I get so many requests from Snapchat now and people that I'll request them and just start having a conversation. And then immediately they start asking about sexual position and they start asking about, oh, send me some pictures and stuff like that. And I'm going, okay, wait, how old are you? And then when they send like a face pic, because sometimes they don't, or sometimes the face pic is not there, but they'll send a face pic and it's like, you look like you are 16. And it's like, how old are you? And it's like, I'm 22. And I'm like, no, thanks. I am completely
Hmm.
fine with that. I was like, I am 47. And they're like, oh, well, I like older. And I'm like, I don't like younger. I don't like that
Right.
young, So
Especially if you're looking like you're 16.
if you looking like you 16, like, dude, that I'm not trying to catch charges here.
Right.
It's
You
not
don't
to,
want
to
to
catch a
be
to catch a
to
predator,
catch a
right?
predator.
Okay,
You
yeah,
don't
I'm
want
not. I
Chris
don't.
popping up.
Thank you. Talking about hi. So tell me about yeah. No, I don't.
Hmm.
I don't want any of that stuff. And then for me to have to cover my face and run outside, no, I'm good. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I get that a lot. But yeah, that's what I mean by preserved. Like
Okay.
look like you have a moisturizer.
Okay. Yeah, that's Snapchat. Yeah, I've known about Snapchat and its hookup potential for a while. I don't use
Hmm.
Snapchat. I mean, I've heard about it being used for that. I mean, I have an account, but I just do not use that app. I may
Hmm.
go in there. I used to go in for the filters and then like put that on Instagram, but as
Yeah,
far as
me
like
too.
using it, I don't do that. Like I don't get into like the snap game and the streaks and all that.
And street,
It's
yeah.
just not a app that I'm interested in at all.
Hmm.
But I definitely know that people get on there and get into the shenanigans.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me
I
ask
just
this
stated,
though. Oh, I was about to say, let me ask you this though, since we were talking
okay.
about sex and us being older, do you feel like sex is better now that you're older, or do you feel like it was better when you were a little bit younger?
Um, well, before I answer that, let me get
Okay.
into because I just stated that I have no issue with dipping a little bit
Oh
younger
yeah, yeah, that's right. That's
when
right.
it comes to sex.
Hmm.
And so just to kind of get on, just to kind of dial back into that for a bit.
Hmm.
Um, I've gone to a couple of sexual oriented parties before, and you don't know the ages of whom that are in there. Like most of the time,
Hmm.
it's going to be 18, 21 plus. So you got that as a given. But if you just kind of like, oh yeah, this dude is cute, this and the other, age is not really going to be in your mind. You're going to be like, oh, he hot, this and the other. Oh, I like you too. I like the way you look, this and the other. Let's go in the corner and mess around for a
And
little bit.
make out.
Yeah, make out,
Hmm.
bump ugly, suck suck, tap tap, this, that, and other. All those adult oriented
Knock
things.
boots. Yeah.
Yes. So in a realm like that, age really doesn't kind of cross my mind. But if I were out there like that now, yeah, then I'd say again, I would feel no problems sexually being with someone younger than me. but it's just going to be like, that's just going to be it. Like, this is just going to be this thing. I'm doing this for you. We're doing this for each other. We're going to bust our nuts. And then after that, hey, well, nice time. And maybe I'll see you randomly at Six Flags or Walmart one day. But this is not, I don't need to exchange your contact information or anything like that beyond this experience. And probably, knowing me, I wouldn't even want them to be like on the roster if they were that too young for me. I want to like stick and move, keep
what's
moving.
Too young?
I don't know what too young is like right now, but I'll say again, if we're going to go back to that plus minus 11, 10 thing, if someone was like, if I found out somebody was like 20, 18, no, that's way too young for me.
I noticed that you just added a year. You said plus or minus 10, and then you said plus or minus 11, 10. So are we going to go up a little bit each
no,
as we continue?
Not, okay. That's not, it was just,
okay.
that you're reading a lot way more into that.
Yeah, I was just asking.
Yeah. Because if I had said plus minus 15, then we'd be talking about, plus minus 10, 11 is not a big deal. But no, I'm not about to be with anyone that's that young. That's just way too young for me. If you're 25 and less, then I'm probably going to be like, no, I don't even want to have sex with you. Your brain hasn't even fully developed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's some stuff that's still going on.
Right.
You're still very
But circling back to your question about is sex better now than it was before? I'll say that for me, it is better just because I'm confident in myself in ways that I wasn't confident in before. It's not even necessarily about what tricks or knowledge or anything like that or experience. It's just me personally and mentally being more in tune to my own body and not feeling like, oh, let me criticize every little stretch or every little extra pound or whatever. Like, I don't get into that anymore. Only if it's, again, like I may go through that like the first time I'm with someone, but I don't even feel like I think about it too much now. When I can go back and think about recent times when I've had a first time experience with someone. But I don't think about those things anymore. Like I used to kind of get into my head about it. But no, it is what it is. So I feel like for me, my confidence in myself personally is a lot better. And so I'm more able to be relaxed and can enjoy it without having to feel like, oh, let me put on this show and this advertisement so you can go around and tell your friends about me and how our experience. I don't want to go into it like that. I want to just, again, live in the moment and enjoy our time together right then. And it's going to be what it's going to be because I'm going to feel confident. So it's going to be good regardless. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
You got that good. So, it's I think it's better only because I'm more selective with who I engage with. And in my 30s and prior, I didn't have to have a lot of engagement and conversation and everything with you prior to it. It was just like, all right, let's get it, let's go, kind of thing. But now I'm a little bit more cautious and I'm a little bit more leery of who I invite into that intimate space. And so I think it's better because of that, simply because of that. Hookups still happen, sure, but it's like, okay, I've had a conversation, I get a good vibe from you. And I think that's the other thing that the more experience you have, the better your discernment is with people. And you feel like, okay, this person feels solid. I don't get any sort of anxiety when I'm having conversations with this person, or I don't feel a certain way when I'm talking to this person, even though we're just exchanging pleasantries and we're probably moving toward a sexual whatever this is, or we're going to bump uglies or knock boots or whatever, but I feel comfortable enough to do that with this person. So I think that's one thing that we gain in age is that those levels or the ability to be able to say, okay, I can really kind of sense when something is getting ready to be a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit.
Right. Good old Todd, always setting up them schemes.
That's right.
Okay. So, as we get older and we talk about things that we can and cannot do.
Okay.
So, have you ever needed to use a sexual enhancement drug like a Viagra or a honey pack or something like that?
Need is the operational word there that you use.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever needed to use that? No. Have I used them? Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your experience like with that?
They're fun. It's fun, and I'm saying it's fun because you learn how your body responds and reacts to those things. So for me, whenever I have used I've used somebody years ago, back when I was living in Florida, actually gave me like a half of a Viagra tablet right before like we did something, and I think he took half of one too, and it made my head hurt. Now, I was, as they say, brick, but I had this headache. And so I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so I asked, I was like, okay, well, why do you get this headache? And so there's like, you have to drink a lot of water when you have these, because then that'll, help the headache subside, et cetera. And so I said, okay, well, that is what it is. And so I've used a honey pack or used some honey packs before, and it's that same thing. So my body kind of knows that, okay, if you're going to use this, if there's a situation where you're going to use this, this is what's going to happen. And I guess that's how I know it works.
Okay.
And then what I've also noticed is that if you use them more than once, at least for me, it doesn't last as long as it did the first couple of times maybe you used it, because I know that little half of Viagra that we used years and years ago, I mean, that was in my system for 24 to 48 hours. Like, I was on go for 24 to 48 hours. I was just like, okay, I know that I probably masturbated a bunch of times during that time, because I was like, okay, what's happening here? Later, again, as I was using other things, it wasn't as potent for some reason. And I guess it was like my body got adjusted to, okay, this is what's coming, we're going to do this. And then that is what it is. So it might not have lasted 48 hours, maybe 20 hours, 18,
Yeah. Well,
16,
they come in different dosages.
True.
So there's that too. So it could be that you just, maybe the person that had like the high dosage.
Okay, clearly
800 milligram,
right?
one
Because
pill.
it was a half of a tablet, and I was just like, okay, you done? Because clearly, as you can see, I'm not. But so have you?
No, I've not. I've never felt that I needed to, and there's nothing wrong with needing to. If you're watching this and you're taking a Viagra, Cialis, what have you, there's nothing wrong with getting what you need to get to what you want
Where
for your
you want to
own
go?
pleasure,
Yeah.
and providing pleasure to other people. That's what these drugs are for. They are there to kind of put you where you need to be, so you can at least perform better if you're not capable of performing on your own. But I've never had the experience where I could not perform. Like, I've had people that I weren't interested in, and that's something completely different, and things just weren't going to work. But as far as, functioning, I've never had that problem. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've thought about taking them, but I'm also a person that feels like, well, if I don't really need to take this, I don't want to take it, because if I get to a point where I do need to take it, I want it to be effective, and I don't want my body to get used to it. Or feel like, oh, well, let me go and get this, and when I really don't need it. I've been tempted, but yeah, no, I think I'm okay. The best thing for me when it comes to that is if I go for 5 or 6 days without an ejaculation, then whoever's around me on day 6, 7, and 8, and ain't nothing happen, is gonna be in trouble. That's pretty much what's gonna happen
They get
with me.
sprayed
It's going to be a hose down, pretty much,
like a
me.
fountain.
Like it's going to be like a geyser just going off with me.
Like in a Scary Movie. Do you remember that scene in Scary Movie where the I forgot that one of the two of the main characters were, you know, doing stuff, and then the guy climaxed, and allegedly he shot her up to the ceiling, and so it's gonna be that.
Probably not that bad,
Okay.
but you know, we'll definitely be hitting the wall on the other side of the room. We'll just
Okay. All right. I've done that before.
Yes. So
Many times.
never had to take them myself, but I don't think there's anything wrong with taking them. So yeah, but I mean, you know, that's part of growing older. You know, I know there's a lot of people that take them when they don't have to take them, and you know, I feel like that can create that dependency.
Yeah.
I know there's people that are in, you know, porn and OnlyFans creation, and they take those drugs just to keep it up so they can get through their session. But there, I guess, when you're making money and there's that incentive to do what you need to do to make your money, then yeah, I'm do what you need to do to pay your rent.
And to get that Porsche and buy your mama a house.
Buy your mama a house, retire your mama early. If it takes you taking Viagra to do that, go ahead on, boy.
You go, boy.
Same with poppers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, were you including that in the performance enhancement drugs as well?
Yeah, that would, you know, if I don't think that poppers are really performance enhancing. I feel that's just kind of lets things be easier for you.
Relaxing.
Yeah, performance relaxing. But I don't think that really, I wouldn't say that a popper would be performance or sexual enhancement. I mean, I guess you could technically say that it would be. I guess because when we, as we, you know how they like to say, talk about how sex is always penis focused. Yeah, and that's what a Viagra would do. But there's female Viagra.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
yeah.
So yeah,
now, I've never used those. I actually don't like that at all. Like, so I've never used any of that.
Yeah, my experience with poppers was the first time I tried it. I got a headache, like you.
Yeah.
I didn't use it to be penetrated or anything. It was just this kind of gets you into the mood. And what I used, or what was given to me, was the I don't want to advertise, but you know, it's yellow and red. So if you've used the yellow and red one, that just gave me a headache. Now, what I was put onto that I liked a lot was the silver and dark blue. The silver and dark blue. That got me right. Like that put me into this real. I feel like, yeah, let's do something. Like, and it only lasted for like, you know, 4 or 5 minutes, and then I was like, all right, let me get another hit of it. Yeah, that was good. Again, I didn't use it to be penetrated. You know, just a JO session, but it was good. Like I was like, this is it. You know, and after the climax, you know, it was still good. Did I have to take it? No.
Right.
Did I felt like, you know, it was a nice little treat every now and then? Yeah, sure, it was. But it wasn't something that I needed to do all the time. And it's been over a year. Over a year since the last time I used a popper. So it's one of those things that I think, you know, our administration has banned. So you probably can still get them.
That.
Yeah, you probably can still get them. I know some people like hoarded them and like bought a whole bunch of them. There's probably some chemist out there that's got a formulation.
I'd be scared to buy them from somebody, particularly unless I trusted them, because I don't know what they're gonna do. Put water in part of it, and somebody, well, this is what this
Who
is.
knows?
And, you know,
some
I don't
formaldehyde.
know. Lace it with peroxide or some shit like, I don't know. Yeah.
Right. It's probably people that's running over to Amsterdam and Berlin buying it and then putting it in to their lotion bottle so it can get through security.
Right.
This is my aftershave.
This is my aftershave, but it's really this. Yeah.
Right.
Liquid
All right.
aftershave. Got you.
All right, so let's move on from sexual health to just general health
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wellness. Because as we age, the body gets older. There's things that hurt that didn't hurt before.
You wake up in the
um,
morning and have
Wake
to
up in the
check,
morning.
do body checks to see what hurts and what you gonna
That's
eat
right.
today. Hmm.
What I'm going to eat. Did I not drink enough water today? Because
Okay.
why is my wrist hurting?
I know.
So how is being physically fit and just getting through life after 40? Do you feel like you're physically fit?
Getting there. I feel like that I'm definitely better than I have been, in my 20s, absolutely. But I'm definitely not there. And I'm not where I think I want to be, and I don't know that I'll ever be where I want to be because I'm one of those, perfectionists that it's like, okay, once I reach this bar, then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this was good, but like I kind of want this, or no, I'm not quite here yet, or no, I'm not quite at this point, so I tend to be never satisfied there, but I'm okay. I'm okay with
Mhm.
with how I look in clothes. Naked is a different story, but how I look in clothes, I'm pretty okay with. So, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like it's this never ending quest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't feel physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm capable of doing a lot more. And I say that because I'm not at the fittest that I've ever been. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I can say that I'm a lot harder on myself than I probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
So do I feel like I could to lose a few pounds? Sure. Yes. Am I trying to look like I'm going to be on America's Next Top X model? No, I don't want to be on that.
Right.
I don't care about having a sculpted body and rippling abs and a super
Mm-hmm.
wide back and a little ass waist and
Right.
thick
Thick
thighs.
ass
Like that doesn't,
thighs. Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want no tree trunks or anything like that. I don't physically have the time to do that and do other things that I also like to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's just not that dedication for me or that desire to chase after a certain look. Do I have body images in mind of what I could potentially look like and be satisfied with?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do
Oh, yeah.
have that. But am
Yeah. I
I
think
going to
we all
sit up
have that
here
internal
and
vision board.
yeah, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna sit and, beat myself down because I don't look a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you, it's all about, do I like the way I look when I have my clothes on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
would be the goal more than anything else. I feel like physically, um, there isn't too much that I'm not able to do that I want to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because
I
yeah, that's
can
the other
walk.
part of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that I could probably say is I'm a little too thick for my liking to go to the amusement park and ride a roller coaster and feel super comfortable about it because that's one of my favorite hobbies.
Yeah, that
Um,
is. I remember
but
that.
yeah, so and I can fit a roller coaster seat, but I can definitely tell you when I was just a little bit smaller, it was a lot more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
than it was when I'm compared to the size that I'm at now. So I would say that's pretty much the only thing that I feel like I can't do. um, I am getting ready to train for another race.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, there will be the ability to do other things that I'm just not doing right now. But I don't think there's anything that I'm physically incapable of doing. It's just getting that consistency with
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to the gym, getting
Mm-hmm.
consistent when it comes to, food and things like that. That's pretty much all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm in a good space on doing things that I want to do, and I do feel like I'm physically fit enough. Well, I know some not necessarily physically fit like I want to be, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm physically capable. So let me put it like that.
Okay. Do you
Um,
you were talking about roller coaster seats. What about like when you travel and like airplane seats? Are you okay with all of that?
yeah, I'm okay with airplane seats.
Cool, cool.
I have been going to get the Delta Comfort. size just because I like to have the more room.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's worth the upgrade. And sometimes you can buy your seat at one price and then upgrade later on, and it's actually not that bad. So I've done that a couple of times. But yeah, I like the comfort just because I'd rather just be sitting in a row where it's just two of us, if
Yeah.
possible, than
Yeah.
three of us. Or if it is, because there's definitely a difference for Delta at least between the Delta main cabin and just Delta Comfort. Like the
Okay.
seats are a little bit more plush. There's definitely a little bit extra wide space. So for comfort reason, yeah, definitely I would just do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What about you?
No, I don't feel like there's anything physically that I can't do that I want to. I will say this. I would like to probably lift a little heavier than I normally do or than I can now, or than I used to be able to. I injured my shoulder, my right shoulder back in 2020 during the pandemic. I was lifting weights, and as I was lifting the bar rolled back, and it rolled kind of back in such a way that like it tore a muscle in my shoulder. And so now when I lift heavy, I have to be super careful because it
You got to work
irritates
around
it.
it.
Yeah, I have to work around that. So I have a trainer now, and my trainer is aware of my shoulder injury. So he will normally check in with me whenever we're doing certain things. He's like, okay, let me check in. How's your shoulder feeling? All right. So take the weight down if you need to, or take it, if you're okay with it, that's fine. But don't push yourself, too much. And then I have my knees are shot because I marched in marching band, and in college I did high stepping marching band. So, and we did splits every week at the end of our show. And so my knees are shot. So sometimes I have to be careful when I'm doing squats. I can't really squat super heavy because my knees are completely bad and damaged and all of that stuff. But, other than that, I can kind of work around stuff, and I can continue to build, my body in such a way, but it's definitely not going to be at a rate that I would see as quickly or as quickly as I would want it to be. Like, some people
Yeah.
will they're posting these pictures of, this is me in January, and then this is me in September. And it's like, you were fat in January, but now you look like The
You're a
Rock
whole
in
different, right?
September. Yeah. And I'm
Right.
going like, really? How in the hell did you do that? Like, were you on The
Right.
Biggest Loser where that was your job, was to work out and eat? That's all you did. So
Yeah. You get testosterone,
yeah,
steroids,
you get HRT
protein.
shots. Yeah, did you get right? Did you switch bodies with somebody? Did you take that Death Becomes Her potion? Like
Right.
all of that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know when I've been working out, it does take me longer to recover. Um, like things will be sore for a little bit longer than what I would like for them to be. But I mean, I guess that's just part of the aging process. Your body just cannot recover from some things. Like even if I get a scratch or something now, I notice that, it feels like, oh yeah, this will be healed up in like 2 weeks. And now I'll get a scratch and it feels like it's been a month and I'm still feeling
Right. It's still
I
scabbing
didn't
over.
I'm put peroxide and Bactine,
Right. Neosporin.
90
That shit ain't doing nothing.
Neosporin, 99% isopropyl alcohol on
Isopropyl
it.
alcohol. Yeah.
Right. And it is still just like not moving.
Which is
So yeah,
acid.
pretty
99%.
much.
Yeah, is acid.
just,
One of my
just
barbers
deep
used to
frying.
spray that on my head, and I was like, "Sir, are you fucking nuts? Like, are you trying to burn my scalp completely off?
Exactly.
Why do you hate me?" Yeah.
That's why, I love Bactine because I normally spray that on, like if I shave my head, when I shave my head, I start with a layer of Bactine first, let that sit for about a minute, and then I follow back through with the alcohol. And
Okay.
then it's tolerable. So it's not as bad. But the
Okay.
Bactine Max, it'll get you right.
Okay. I might need to try that because, yeah, you're supposed to show me how to actually shave with a straight razor. So,
I don't even use those anymore. I've
okay.
gone back to cartridges again just because it's just easier.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was it's good to know how to do, but I wouldn't do it unless I just absolutely had to. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer the cartridges now.
Okay, dope,
Yeah.
dope.
No. But yeah, it is harder for me to recover. Well, it takes longer than it used to, not necessarily harder. I did a 5K walk yesterday,
Oh, dope.
and I'm feeling it in my legs. Well, specifically my calves right now, in the
Mm-hmm.
front part, my shins and the side of my legs. And I did the whole little stretching and warm up routine, and yeah. But I feel like the more that I do that, as I said, I'm getting ready for another race later next year. So hopefully, once things kind of, I'm more consistent with the training, the recovery won't be as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I'm in the early stages of it. So something that I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with.
Yeah, yeah,
For recovery, I know I like to get massages and things like that. I
yeah. I
have
do
like
too.
a massage gun that I can use to hit some certain spots and trigger points. I've got like this, what do you call that thing? It's called a rumble rocker. And it's like a little
Yeah,
foam
never
roller,
heard of
but
that.
it's got these little really thick bumps. And like you can put it on the ground or on the wall. And like you can like roll to the left and right or up and down. And it can uh, really hit some of those deep spots if you got like a knot in it. So I like
Mm,
that.
okay.
So for recovery, that's good. And I also like to go to, the Korean spa because I talk about that a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
sitting in a hot tub or a steam room is also good because, that helps the muscles get warmed up and gives you some relaxation with that too. So those are a couple of things that I like to do for recovery. What
Mm-hmm.
about yourself?
I usually just kind of let it ride. I'm in recovery right now. My legs are killing me. We did legs Friday at the gym,
Okay.
and what's crazy is I'm good all that day, and I'm even good the next day. It's toward the end of day 2 and day 3. Well, the end of day 1, I'm sorry, and day 2
Mhm.
after I've done legs is when it bothers me. So I went to the gym this morning, and literally when I came back from the gym, like I had to hold on to the rail to get back up the steps because my legs were killing me. I was like, okay, but it'll subside, it'll go away. It'll start going away tomorrow, and then Tuesday I'm good to go. But then I'll do legs again later in the week, and so it'll be that all over again. So usually when I
Mhm.
recover, same thing, I'll do massages, or I have honestly I don't do the steam room or the sauna. I
Okay.
don't know that I've ever done that, to be honest with you, and I might need to try that at some point, but I don't like heat like that. And
Yeah.
so now I like heat on my massages because I don't like deep tissue massages. I like, okay, do light to medium pressure, but then you can put some heat on me and my body will respond normally to that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't like heat like that. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go into the sauna. I'm good, y'all. Y'all have fun with that. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
normally what I do. And I just try to kind of take those rest days or take those rest breaks. That helps me recover.
Do you do any type of stretching?
Yes, I will stretch a little bit. I don't stretch as much as I should, but
Hmm.
I definitely will stretch there. And sometimes I'll go to the massage parlor and do the stretch. Like I'll purchase the stretch
Hmm.
at the massage. Like I'll do a stretch and then a massage. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do both of those.
Yeah. Stretching, I've been told, is very important the older that you get.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have this thing called it's a stretch strap, and basically
Mm-hmm.
it's like a band, a canvas band, and it has these different like loop sections, so you can put like your arm through or your leg, and you can pull and stretch your legs and the back of your legs and the front of your legs just by pulling it across your body. You can do that either on a wall, on the floor, on the bed. It is really good. And the one that I bought, I've had it for almost over 10 years now because I had it before I moved here to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very durable. So
Like a
I
yoga.
definitely
It's
like
almost like
that.
a yoga strap.
Yeah, I guess you could
That's what it
call it
sounds
that.
like it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean you can do the same thing with even with a like a towel.
Yeah, yeah.
If you got like a bath sheet or just a bath towel, you can use that for the same thing. I just like having a specialized product for that, just because it's easier to
Right.
tote around. I can just put it in my gym bag or have it in my gym bag, whip it
Hmm.
out when I need to, and go on about my business.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
like you, I do not like heat, but I sweat a lot,
Okay.
or because I sweat a lot, and it doesn't take a lot for me to get sweaty.
Hmm.
I just know that when I go to the steam room, I have to have my water bottle with me, because
Hmm.
with that, it's a little bit more tolerable. The only
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is, if you take your water bottle with you into the sauna or the steam room, you need to get like a little cozy on it,
Hmm.
because all of this is going to absorb all the heat. So you won't be able to hold it unless you
Hmm.
have something around it. So if you do take it into the sauna or the steam room, make sure you've got something that you can actually touch it with, so you can open it up and close it
Yeah, yeah.
and hold it.
And hold it there.
Um, Beyond, the physical, have you
Hmm.
had any type of mental health care as you've gotten older
Yeah,
rather?
yeah. I definitely have had some therapy, and my therapist that I was using is now out of my network. And so I have to try to find another therapist, but she was really good. I really enjoyed her. And she had a kind of spiritual element to what she, talked about. So I enjoyed her. And a lot of what I talked about with her in terms of therapy was about relationships and about how I show up in relationships. So she gave me some good feedback, on stuff like that. And not only romantic relationships, but familiar relationships and
Mm.
friendships and stuff like that. So that was where I felt like I needed a lot more of that. But I have to find somebody else now. So have you ever done any therapy?
Yeah,
Yeah, you have. Yeah, with the
yeah, yeah.
hmm
Because I mentioned,
hmm
and talked about it before today's show, but
yeah.
worked with a life coach,
Hmm.
and that was very beneficial. Helped me in a lot of ways, more beyond what my initial contact with him was. And there's lots of things from my sessions with him, even though it's been a while, but I still take to heart. I still have notes and things from doing that. I probably need to sit down and talk to someone again, just as a check in, just see how things are going. I do feel like in general I'm in a very good space mentally. For the most part, everything is going pretty good. I'm in one of those situations that is very rare, where my personal life, my work life, and my finance life seem to be in a little bit of harmony.
Okay.
There's
That's
some,
good.
yeah. So sometimes it's usually two things are in a good space and something's in chaos. And
Hmm.
this is one of those first for few moments where everything is kind of manageable, and I don't feel like, oh, this is at one extreme and everything else is just kind of like falling apart. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a pretty good space, but there's nothing wrong with seeking the help of therapy or a life coach. I am definitely a advocate for those things. As Black men, um, we need those things.
What do you
Um,
feel is the difference between therapist or therapy versus life coaching?
so I have a aunt who is a psychologist,
Okay.
and she doesn't really like the life coach things, because she's kind of, she's done the work, she's gotten her doctorate and all this stuff, so she feels like life coaches kind of get to be psychologist light,
Okay.
without having to go through a lot of the
The
things
formal
that
training.
the
Hmm.
formal training and getting the certifications and things like that. And I get her point.
Hmm.
But there's also, I may not need all of your magic. I may just need somebody to give me like a pep talk. I just may need a hype man, and someone that can just kind of hold me accountable or ask me questions that I've never asked before or thought about. And sometimes that's all the life coach needs to do. And I feel like there's different levels. So everyone doesn't need the same type of help that the next person needs. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that there's a blanket that you can kind of put on it. I feel like if we've got different levels of access and healthcare, that's fine. If someone needs to graduate to something that's more rigorous, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you your provider is not even in your network anymore, so you'd have to pay more out of pocket. Now, if you could afford it, then great. But if you still like, hey, I got healthcare benefits, I just want to use this as a discount. I need to find someone else that is in my network that's affordable. You just have to roll with the punches,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you are going through the process and finding the healthcare professional that is right for you and putting you on the right track. I don't see anything wrong with selecting from the levels of different services, because sometimes you just need a nurse, sometimes you need a nurse practitioner, sometimes you need a doctor. It just depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so that's good that we kind of talked about that, because that kind of leads me to this other question, like, and this kind of goes back to the first part of this discussion. um do you have like any type of boundaries that you're setting with people now that you weren't setting before? Or like, how are you dealing with the bullshit and protecting your peace?
Hmm. I mean, I've always set boundaries. That's almost my middle name. I'm real quick to say, okay, here's here's what it's going to be, and here's how I'm going to show up in this. And I usually, me being a Virgo, I'm not going to deviate from the script like that. So once that script is written, it is what it is. So there are certain things that now that I'm older that I don't do that I probably would have done when I was younger. One of the things I know, one of the boundaries that I've set is I don't lend or give money
Mm,
because it worries me too much about when I'm going to get it back. So sometimes if I give someone some money or they say, can I borrow money? A lot of times what I'll do is if it's somebody that's close enough to me, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you're going to pay it back or that you're going to get it back to me. But if you don't get it back to me at the time that you set that you were going to give it back, then your credit's ruined with me. So I will never lend you anything else again. I will never
mm,
give you anything else again unless it's, a birthday or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm just giving you this because
right.
this is what it is. But I definitely don't lend or give money. So I'm getting better at just flat out saying no to that. Whereas before I would have to kind of ask questions about what do you need it for and what is this,
Mm,
etc. So now I'm a little bit better about saying no, or I'm sorry you're in that predicament, but you need to figure out how you're going to get it out, and I don't need to be the solution to that. So that
yeah,
helps me maintain my peace because I don't want money continuously going out for other people and then they're not able to recover. They're not able to get themselves back on their feet until they come
right.
back and ask you for more money. So that's one thing that I'm definitely I've set boundaries for, and I definitely set boundaries when it comes to communication with people, and I'm getting better definitely at just kind of cutting people off. Like I'm still in this space where I want you to be accountable for the shit that you did or didn't do. And
Hmm.
so I think that's a work. I'm a work in progress there because not that I want closure, but I'm like, nah, you need to own that this was an issue. And even if we're not going to be anything more, if we're not going to be friends, if we're not going to be in a relationship or anything like that, I just want you to own that that's what it is. And then, we can move on with life. So those are
Yeah.
just like a couple of boundaries that I've set. But again, those are confrontational boundaries. So, I don't
Yeah.
know if there's anything non-confrontational, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm with you. I've gotten a lot better with saying no, and I ran into something that reminded me of an issue from years ago. And I was sitting thinking last weekend, I am so glad that, I've had this experience. And now that I had that experience that caused me to not to say what I'm about to say now, is that the old me would have put up with some things that new me just would not. And I think that just comes with age and experience. I am Certain people have to earn with me the ability to make a second mistake.
Okay.
I feel like everyone gets a second chance.
So you were on a one strike rule.
I'm on a a 2 strike rule now. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
Because now I'm kind of like, before I would give people a lot more leeway for certain things. And now I don't have time. I don't have time for it during the day. I don't have enough days left on this earth for it. Once we get to the point where my ability to recognize stupidity and dumbness has gotten better.
Okay.
Like you said, discernment.
Yeah.
And I just don't have it in me anymore to it's getting to a point where it may get to a one and done, but I just don't have time to deal with people that treat me certain ways or disrespect me or disrespect my time and money. Like you said, there's some people that Susie Orman said that you either are going to be okay with someone taking the money and it be a gift, you have to just gift it. But when it comes to like borrowing money, there's only a couple of people that I'm okay with letting them borrow money from me because I know that they will pay it back.
Yeah.
And if they don't pay it back on the 15th, they'll at least tell me on the 14th, like, hey, can I pay you back on the 21st?
Right.
Okay, cool. Because you've borrowed and paid me money back before, so it's no problem. I have no
Your
problem
credit's
letting
good.
you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your credit is good with me. I'm good, and you pay me the money back. I get a Zelle or a Cash App, and other than it's all good. Everybody does not have access to me like that. And so I've learned better to kind of like put people over there that need to be over there, and people that need to be over here get to stay over here. But other people that need to be over there, they're going to stay over there, especially when it comes to things like money. So I've gotten better with saying no. So setting that as a boundary, and, just making sure that I'm not feeling bad for saying that no. I shouldn't have to apologize for telling you no, because no is a complete sentence. And once I've heard that a long time ago, I was like, you know what? That is absolutely correct. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to explain it anymore beyond saying no.
So do you ever get people that go, why, when you say no?
I've gotten that before, but not recently, for me to be able to like tell you, any type of detail. But I just can say in general, I've said no and just kind of like left it at that, like because I don't want to.
Okay, because I was gonna say, what's the follow up to that? Because if I'm borrowing money and I say, hey Jeff, let me borrow $200, and you say no, and then I say, okay, why not?
I can't afford it. I don't want to. I got my own problems. Charity begins at home. It's just like they say, when you in the plane and the mask come down, put it on yourself first and then help other people. So that basically what I had to tell an ex a long time ago, because I told him that we are on a financially sinking ship and I can't be with you anymore. So I have to put the mask on myself first, and I can't help you right now. You have to help yourself. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
All right. So let's shift gears, since we're getting ready to close this out, but I want to end on a positive note. So what are you looking forward to in this stage of your life? Not necessarily saying that 40 isn't the end, because it's not. We're continuing on.
Hell no.
Yes.
I'm gonna be here for a while. Yeah.
But yeah, so now on this the next half of your life, or do you have anything that you're looking forward to?
I'd like to be at a space where, and I've been at this space before, but I'd like to be at a space where I'm just comfortable. Like I'm comfortable with multiple things. Like I'm comfortable with the way I look. I'm comfortable with my finances. I'm comfortable with where I live. I'm comfortable with the people who are around me. I'm comfortable in a relationship. I'm comfortable with, just comfortable. And that sounds very convoluted, but it really is just like, that's kind of what I'm seeking. I'm seeking, a pursuit of comfort, like the pursuit of happiness, like pursuit of comfort. I'm like, okay, I want to be able to come home and go, yeah, this is good. Like I'm enjoying
Mhm.
this, I'm enjoying that. And like I said, I've had moments where I've experienced that, and I've experienced it in different spaces or in different arenas. But to have it in a lot of different areas all at the same time, like you were talking about earlier, how you
Yeah.
said, your finances, your this and your that are all like in harmony. I think
Yeah.
that's ultimately too what I'm kind of searching for. Is just that those levels of harmony and comfort. So,
Okay.
and what
All
about
right.
you?
Um, what I'm looking for within the next phase, and I'll say for the next 10 years, I'm looking forward to um, home ownership. That's something that I wanted for a while, is just having
Mm-hmm.
my own space that I can, if I want the walls to be red this week and yellow next week, I want the ability to do that and not have to pay a deposit back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I want to buy a certain range in the house, I can do that, or a new cooktop. I
Mm-hmm.
can install the thermostat that I want to. Like I want to have that experience. Looking forward to getting another vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to eventually getting to the stage of retirement and what that could look like for me.
Yeah.
I have people in my family that are retired, and they are living it up. They are
Mm-hmm.
traveling the world, or they're making money doing what they've always wanted to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
Just having it easy breezy with their retirement money and the extra little money that they make on the side on the hustles,
Yeah.
and just being able to actually enjoy life on their own terms. And so I'm looking forward to getting to that point in life. I feel like I'm in a good spot as far as um, friends and relationships go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like the next stage of my life is going on a very positive note in general.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
could definitely see that for you. You're definitely on the trajectory for that right now.
Indeed,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Maybe we'll end up in Shady Pines, or like we mentioned before,
We're
we'll
going to
end up in
be
our own
the
spot.
Golden Boys. We're going to be the
Golden
Golden
boy.
Boys. I told him, I was like, look, if we don't have anybody at a certain age, we are going to move in together and we are going to be the Golden Boys. And we're going to get up
Hmm.
and we're going to go walk the mall in the morning with all the old people. And then we're going to go to McDonald's and get a
Right.
hamburger and a cup of coffee and sit around and talk about politics and the weather with a bunch
Hmm.
of other old dudes that just happen to show up
Exactly.
at the same time. Yes, we're gonna do it.
Yep, we're gonna be the McDonald's coffee guys.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I was gonna try to be a Walmart greeter, but they
Fuck
don't do
that.
that job no
Yeah.
more.
Fuck that. No. Mm-mm. I ain't got time to be greeting people. I'm sorry. Yeah. I want to go talk to my people over a
Hmm.
hamburger and a cup of Sanka. That's what I want.
All right, not Sanka.
Hmm. I took it back.
we,
You like that?
mm, we might as well just get some chock full of nuts or something.
Hey, that too, and cream of wheat, all of that. Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. So we're going to wrap this up today. Aging is a common denominator that we are all faced, if we're lucky enough. And we're lucky in that we've made it this far, considering that, we are Gen X and we came of age at the height of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. So, shout out to our fallen brothers who fell
Absolutely.
or succumbed to
Absolutely.
that.
Hmm.
We're lucky to actually have been gotten to this stage to see this millennium. So, life doesn't end just because one turns 30 or
Hmm.
40 or beyond, like TV and movies would lead us to believe.
Hmm.
Like on
Right.
Girlfriends, old girl thought that her whole life was over because she was turning 30.
Hmm.
But no, we're not Joan Clayton up in here.
Hmm. We're
But
not.
unfortunately, or fortunately, we can't live forever. We're not going to be forever young. So we all have to consider what life is going to look like at these stages, after 30, after 40, after 50, after 60. Youth gets further and further away. It's back in our rearview mirror, and we got to look ahead to what's coming up. But as we have been able to gain experiences and memories and knowledge, that is the beauty of what getting older is all about as we travel down this thing that we call life.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we are going to wrap it up today. Thanks for hopping on or watching us here on Just Draws. uh, I'm sorry, I'm looking
Yeah.
at the note.
I was like, yeah, what is happening over there? It's age. It's that age. That
I didn't
age is
get
catching
old.
up with you. You done got old and you don't even know what
I
the hell is going on now.
don't
I get
even
it.
know. See, and
Hmm.
that's brings us right on to our closing. Like I hope you have laughed a little bit at this one
At this point, yes. Yes.
and learned something new.
Now, remember that the conversation doesn't end with Jeff not knowing what the hell he was supposed to say. We want you to come into our DMs or come into, our comments and talk to us, talk back to us, send us a message privately or on our Just Drawz website or our Just Drawz social media pages. Say what's up, tell us your stories about aging, or, just come in and be like, what's up, unks?
Exactly. Until then, just be bold, just be beautiful, and most importantly, just be yourself.
That's right. We'll catch y'all next time.
All right. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Now be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and Spotify at Just Drawz. That's JUSTDRAWZ. Until next time,